Hi all, I think I'm live now. If I'm live, can you please message on the chat that I'm live? So this I think will be a very important session. I have picked very good questions and I feel these will be very useful to you. Thank you, thanks a lot. I think many of you are saying that I'm live. So pay good attention to these questions, try to answer them on your own. As usual, we'll be having a test. Please go to cracku.in/live. Try to attempt the questions on your own. Trying to attempt and trying to answer them and solving them on your own, I think will help build your own confidence. Once you are not able, if you're able to get it, that's very good. If you're not able to get it, then you can always look at the explanation in our live stream that we'll be doing. Every question will have 2 minutes, and I think in today's quiz we'll have 8 questions. All the questions I think are from geometry. All the questions are from geometry that I know. Some of the questions are easy, but I have picked at least 3-4 questions which I think are slightly on the more difficult side. This will just help you prepare better, and you will be able to anticipate any question if it becomes more difficult than expected. I think this will help you get prepared to it. So people who have just joined, can you guys please like the stream? There are I think 190 students who are watching it. If you are watching it, can you guys please like the stream? I'll tell you a couple of theorems or couple of formulas that we'll be using in today's quiz. The quiz will start at exactly 9 p.m. So if you are looking to participate, please go to cracku.in/live. A couple of formulas that I remember that we have used in this, one of them is the cosine rule. The cosine rule we have used regularly. This is a nice theorem. It will help you in answering questions very fast. Many people don't know trigonometry or are not comfortable with the trigonometry formulas, because of which they take more time to solve simple questions. So suppose you have a triangle, the angles are A, B and C, and suppose the sides opposite the angles are small a, small b and small c. Then I think many of you would know the sine rule. The sine rule says that A, that is the length of the side BC, divided by sine A, that is sine of the angle A, is equal to B divided by sine B, which is equal to C divided by sine C. This is the sine rule. A cosine rule will help you in finding the length of another side if you are given the lengths of two sides and the angle between them. So suppose you are given the lengths of side C and side A and angle B, then you can definitely find out the length of the side B. That will equal B square is equal to A square plus C square minus 2AC cos B. Now one of the things that you would notice is that if B is equal to 90 degrees, that is if say this is a right angle, then cos B will become equal to 0 because cos 90 is equal to 0. So minus 2AC into cos B will become equal to 0, and B square will equal A square plus C square. This is the Pythagoras theorem, which is just a corollary of the cosine rule. If you know this formula, I think you will be able to definitely answer I think 1 or 2 questions. That is what I remember. There are some other simple theorems. Just again I'll give you a basic idea because these might be used in today's quiz. We still have 4 minutes. If you want to participate, please go to cracku.in/live. I'll give you a couple of other important theorems that we use for today's quiz. The first thing is, if you have a polygon, if it is an n-sided polygon, the sum of all the exterior angles will be always equal to 360 degrees. What is an exterior angle? If you, for example, are having a hexagon, the side which is exterior to the interior angle will be called the exterior angle, and the sum of all of them will be equal to 360 degrees. And therefore, the sum of all the interior angles will be equal to n minus 2 into 180 degrees. Again, if you are looking at simple extensions, if you are looking at a square, which is a 4-sided regular polygon, the sum will be equal to 4 minus 2, that is 2 into 180 degrees, which is 360 degrees. Similarly, if you are looking at a triangle, what is the sum of all the interior angles? That will be equal to 3 minus 2, that is 1 into 180 degrees. I'll give you one more very simple hint which will be used in one of the questions. That is because as I have drawn a hexagon, the sum of all the interior angles of a hexagon will be equal to 6 minus 2, because the number of sides is 6, into 180 degrees, which is equal to 4 into 180 degrees, which is 720 degrees. 720 degrees is the sum of all the interior angles of a hexagon. If it is a regular hexagon where all the sides are the same and all the angles are the same, then each of these angles will be equal to 120 degrees. I think I have given enough clues. I think if you follow whatever I am saying and if you have some basics, then you will be definitely be able to attempt at least 4 out of 8 questions correct today. The only issue might be with respect to the time, because we have given only 2 minutes to solve. So that might be a problem for some people, but otherwise you should be able to answer at least 4 questions by knowing these simple theorems. So we will be starting the quiz very shortly in another 2 minutes. So because we have time, I will give you one more important theorem. Again, that might be used in today's quiz. This is with related to circles. So suppose you have a circle and suppose there is a point outside the circle. From this point, if you are drawing a tangent to the circle and say you are drawing a secant to the circle. Let us assume, let us name them, let the point be A, and the point where this touches the tangent touches the circle be equal to B, and let the secant touch the circle at 2 points C and D. Then AB square, which is the square of the length of the tangent, is equal to AC into AD. That is the length of the tangent whole square, double if you're multiplying it twice, is equal to AC into AD. This is a very important theorem. I find this to be very useful in tangents. This is called the tangent secant method, tangent secant theorem. I think these are sufficient to do well in today's quiz, and I'm sure these will be very useful even in the actual CAT. We will be starting the test very shortly. We will be starting the test in another 1-2 minutes. So if you want to participate in the test, please go to cracku.in/live. If you go to cracku.in/live, you will be able to take the test quite soon. Vishal Agarwal is saying, hi sir, are free CAT mocks available on Cracku site are comparatively easier than the paid mocks? Not really. All the mocks, the paid as well as the free mocks, we have made them or we have designed them in such a way that we feel the actual exam will come. We haven't tried to make the free mocks to be slightly on the easier side. Nothing like that. We try to make all the mocks to be as close to CAT as possible. How long is the test? Mohit Manwani is saying, we will be looking at each question will have 8 questions. Each question will have a time limit of 2 minutes. Now you can start taking once the question is solved or once the 2 minutes are over, then I'll give the explanation. Then we'll look at the next question and so on. I think overall it will take around 45 minutes or so. So we'll be starting the quiz very, very soon. If you want to take part in the quiz, please go to cracku.in/live. There are close to 200 people there. And if you have just joined the stream, can you guys please like the stream? If you like it, it will make us feel more encouraged. Okay, the first question we are posting very shortly. There are 268 people on the stream. That is very good. I hope that it is helpful to many of you. And I'm actually quite, because I've seen all the questions and I've prepared for this stream, I know that many of these questions are actually very useful. This is this is a simple question to start off with. I hope many of you will get it correct. And there are a couple of things that I would always recommend people do. Whenever there is a tangent to a circle, first thing I would tell anybody is to connect the point of intersection of the tangent and the circle to the center. I'll give you just an example. So if you have a circle and if in any question you have a tangent to the circle from any outside point, in most of the cases, in 99% of the cases, it makes a lot of sense for you to connect the center to the point of intersection of the tangent, because this will be 90 degrees. When you join the center to the point of intersection of the tangent and the tangent itself, both of them will be perpendicular. So that will be quite useful. So you'll be able to get a lot of information just by connecting the center to the point of intersection. So whenever you see a tangent, try to always connect it to the center of a circle. People who have just joined, can you guys please like the stream? Then it will be shown to more people. One more thing that I wanted to tell you is that if you are enjoying our streams, we plan to do very regular streams for the next 2 weeks before CAT. Please subscribe to our channel, and please don't forget to click on the bell icon, because if you click on the bell icon, only then will you get notifications that we are starting the stream, and then you can join. In the next 2 weeks, we plan to conduct many streams. Till now, I think we are conducting 1 or 2 streams every week, but in the next 2 weeks, I plan to do a lot more streams. Most of them will be impromptu. We wouldn't really plan a lot. So if you subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon, you will get your notification so that you won't miss any stream. So let us look at this first question. So in this question it is given that we are supposed to calculate the angle CAD. We are given that AD is a tangent and BC is the diameter of the circle. So let us draw this diagram in a slightly bigger manner. So this is the circle. We are given a tangent. This is the tangent, say the tangent is AD. The point of intersection of the circle and the tangent is A, and this is D. We are also told that BC is the diameter of the circle. So you have BC over here. This is the diameter, and we are given that if you connect A to both of these points, let us name these points. This is B, this is C. We are given that angle BCA is 35 degrees. We are told that BC is the diameter of the circle, and we are supposed to calculate angle CAD. In general, as I mentioned earlier also, in general, we always connect the center of the circle to the point of intersection of the tangent. So if you think that the center of the circle is O, connect O to the point of intersection of the tangent and the circle, which is A. So now you have angle OAD to be equal to 90 degrees. We also know that angle BAC, this also is 90 degrees, because we have another theorem that we can think about. This is that if you have a circle and if you have a diameter to the circle, now the angle subtended by the diameter at the circumference is always equal to 90 degrees. So if you have a diameter and you connect both the ends of the diameter to any point on the circumference, this will always be equal to 90 degrees. So in this particular case, we also know that angle BAC is equal to 90 degrees. Now if you are looking at the triangle OCA, triangle OCA is an isosceles triangle, because OC is the radius and OA is also the radius. So if angle OCA is 35 degrees, angle OAC will also be equal to 35 degrees. Therefore, what is the value of angle CAD? Angle CAD will be equal to 90 degrees minus 35 degrees, which is equal to 55 degrees. There are many ways in which we can do this, but this is the way I felt was the easiest to solve. Now let us look at the next question. We will post the next question in exactly 10 seconds. So if you plan to join, please go to kraku.in/live. People who have just joined the stream, please go to kraku.in/live. You will be able to take the test there. I think there are another 7 questions. I think from now on the questions will be slightly on the more difficult side. Kuldeep Singh is saying this is a very easy question. This is not efficient. Good for you, Kuldeep. If you think this is not efficient, do it in a way which you are more comfortable with. There are 320 people on the chat. I'm happy for that. They are watching it. But if you guys can like the stream also, then it will be very helpful for us. We'll really appreciate it. We also have a countdown where we are giving all the resources that we have for free. If you are looking to if you are looking to make the best use of it, please go to kraku.in/cat 2020 countdown. We'll give you the link for that in our chat also. All the important resources that you need to make the best use of the remaining 10 to 15 days are there in this countdown page. You have free PDFs where you can download all the formulas. You have the free mocks, the free CAT mocks that thousands of students have taken. You also have free videos, the complete revision videos that we have done. All of them are present in this countdown page. We'll give you the link for that in our chat. You can take a look at it. I'm sure they'll be very useful for you. So there are 70 people who got it correct. Let us look at this question. We are told that there is a triangle ABC and the lengths of the three sides of ABC are given. Let us assume that this is the triangle ABC. In this triangle ABC, we have A, we have B, and we have C. We are told that the length of AB is 10 centimeters. The length of BC is 16 centimeters. So this is 16 centimeters, and the length of CA is 12 centimeters. We are also told that a line is drawn from A which will bisect BC at D. So if you draw a line, this will bisect BC at D, and from D a line is drawn which will bisect AC at E. So this is D and this is E. Now we are told that D bisects BC, so BD is 8 centimeters and DC is 8 centimeters. E bisects AC, so EC is 6 centimeters and AE is 6 centimeters. What we are asked to find out is the length of DE. So let us assume that DE is equal to X centimeters. Now there are multiple ways in which we can solve it. One of the ways that I felt was the easiest to solve it is look at X. If you're looking at X, that is DE, you know that the angle C is common to ABC, triangle ABC, and it is common to triangle DEC. So if you are using the cosine rule in angle DAC, what is the value of x square? X square will equal, sorry, if you are looking at cosine rule, what is the value of cos C? Cos C will equal 6 square plus 8 square minus x square divided by 2 into 6 into 8. Similarly, if you are looking at triangle ABC, what is the value of cos C? This is equal to 12 square plus 16 square minus 10 square divided by 2 into 12 into 16. So if you are equating cos C in both the cases, you will get one equation and you have one unknown which is x square, which you can solve to get the value of x. So in this particular case, the equation we have is that what is 12 square? It is 144 plus 16 square is 256 minus 100 divided by 2 into 12 into 16 is equal to 6 square is 36 plus 8 square is 64 minus x square divided by 2 into 6 into 8. So you can cancel 12 as 2 into 6 and you can cancel 8 as 2 into 16. So the left hand side will become equal to 144 plus 256 is 400 minus 100 is 300. 300 divided by 4 is equal to 36 plus 64 is 100 minus x square. 300 by 4 is 75, or the value of x square is equal to 100 minus 75, which is equal to 25. Therefore, the value of x is 5 centimeters, which is option B. We'll be looking at the next question very soon. If you want to participate in it, please go to kraku.in/live. There are 340 people who are watching this live. I'm actually quite happy about that. If you guys can please like the stream, that will be very useful for us. There are only 200 likes and 350 people who are watching it. So if you can increase the likes by another 10-15, that will be very good. If you want to participate in the quiz, please go to kraku.in/live. The next question will be posted very shortly. Anurag MET is saying daily target is awesome. My DILR got sorted. Thanks a lot, Anurag. Daily target has I think around 250 very good LRD assets, all of them with video solutions. So many people found it very useful in their preparation for CAT. I hope that all the guys who have used our daily target also do well in the CAT examination. Saurav is saying while other channels are wasting time speculating about pattern and level of difficulty, you're doing live sessions, which is extremely helpful to students. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Saurav. These kind of words are very encouraging. There are many people in my team who are actually working right now to get this stream up. So you can understand that it is not just my effort. Our entire team is working very hard to help students as much as possible. What we ask in return is very simple. If you have enrolled to our course, if you think that our course has helped you, please share it with your friends. That word of mouth is very useful for us and very helpful for us. We are a very small company, but our biggest strength is our brand ambassadors, who are our paid students, and nearly all of them are very happy with the course. So if you like our courses, please share it with your friends. Okay, the time is up. Let us try to answer this. So in this question, we are told that there is a regular hexagon. This is inscribed in the circle as shown in the figure. If the length of the smallest diagonal is 16 centimeters, find the area of the circle. So if you're looking at a circle and if you inscribe a hexagon in this circle, let us assume that this is the hexagon in a circle. One of the things that you should note is that the interior angle, the internal angle of a hexagon is 120 degrees. Now connect 2 points, 2 vertices of the hexagon to the center of the circle. So the center, the angle in the center, this will equal 60 degrees. And this is also an isosceles triangle because both the sides which are opposite that 60 degrees, which are adjacent to the 60 degrees, are equal. This would imply that this is not just an isosceles triangle, this is actually an equilateral triangle. So if you're assuming this to be A, B and O, OA is equal to OB is equal to the radius of the circle, and the angle in the center is 60 degrees. So even these two angles should be equal, and each of them will also equal 60 degrees. So whenever you inscribe a regular hexagon inside a circle, you will get the radius of the circle will be equal to the side of the hexagon. Once you understand this, you will be able to very easily solve this question. So in this particular case, if you are trying to find out the area of the circle, what we need to find out is the length of the side of the hexagon. We are told that the length of the shortest diagonal is 16 centimeters. So let us connect point F, for example, to point B, and this will be the shortest diagonal. We are given that this diagonal, the length of it is 16 centimeters. So let us assume that each side of the hexagon is A. The angle between them is 120 degrees. So what will be the length of FB? Let us say this is y in terms of A. Again, we can use the cosine rule. So y square is equal to a square plus a square minus 2 into a into cos 120 degrees. What is the value of cos 120 degrees? It is equal to minus cos 60. What is the value of cos 60? That is equal to half. So this will be equal to a square plus a square plus a into a is again a square, and 2 into cos 120 minus 2 into cos 120 will be equal to 1, because cos 120 is equal to minus half. So this is equal to another a square, or 3a square is equal to y square. Here we are given that the length of BF is 16 centimeters. So the length of the value of a square is equal to y square, which is equal to 16 into 16, which is 256 divided by 3. Now, as we have discussed earlier, when you are inscribing a hexagon inside a circle, the length of each side of the hexagon is equal to the radius of the circle. In this particular case, if you join the center to B, and if you call the center to be equal to O, OB will also equal A, as we have described earlier. So if you are trying to find out the area of the circle, that will equal pi a square. What is the value of pi a square? That is equal to 256 into 22 by 7 into 1 by 3. Now you can use your calculator to find out that 256 into 22 by 7 divided by 1 by 3 is equal to 256 into 22 by 21. This will equal approximately 268.19. We'll be looking at the next question very shortly. If you want to take part in the test, please go to cracku.in/live. This I think is a slightly easy question, but try to get it. Hope most of you people will get it. I want to see at least 100 people get this question correct. I'll be very happy if the number of people who got it correct is 100. People who have just joined the stream, can you guys please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon? And if you like the stream, that will be very useful for us. There are 350 people who are live right now, and we have around 260 likes. So if you can increase it to another, say, 275 or 280, that will be very good. Rohan Sarkar is saying hello. Hi, Rohan. There are 34 people who got this correct. This is not a very difficult question. Only thing that you should know in case of any triangle is that if you have a triangle, say you have a triangle like this, and if the lengths of the three sides are say A, B and C, and without loss of generality, let us assume that A is greater than or equal to B is greater than or equal to C. That is, the length of A is the largest amongst the three sides. Then A has to be strictly less than B plus C. If A, B and C are three sides of a triangle, then A has to be strictly less than B plus C. If you use that, you should be able to get this question. There are 67 people who got this correct. I was hoping that 100 people will get this correct, but looks like that is not difficult. Okay, 89 people got this correct. Okay, 98 people got this correct. Okay, 100 people have got it correct. I'm actually quite happy. 108 people have got it correct. I think there is a slight lag between people submitting their answer and it recording in our stats. But what is slightly disappointing is that 84 people got this wrong. This I think is not a very difficult question, and if you have made a silly mistake, then try to cut down on those kind of silly mistakes in the actual examination. So here we are asked to find out the number of distinct triangles with integer sides whose perimeter is 11. So let us assume that there are three sides, and let A be greater than or equal to B be greater than or equal to C. What is given to us is that A plus B plus C is equal to 11, and as A, B and C are three sides of a triangle, then the value of A will be strictly less than B plus C. Now let us start enumerating. Let us assume that C is equal to 1. If C is equal to 1, A plus B will equal 10, and the possible values for A and B are that A is equal to B is equal to 5. So one case is that the lengths of the sides are 5, 5 and 1. If you are keeping the smallest side to be 1, and if you are increasing the other side, the largest side, from 5 to 6, the value of B will decrease from 5 to 4, and then it will be 6, 4 and 1, but these three cannot be sides of a triangle because 6 is greater than 4 plus 1. So if you have the smallest side to be equal to 1, you have only one possibility, which is 5, 5 and 1. If you are increasing the value of C to 2, that is, if you are increasing the smallest side from 1 to 2, then A plus B will equal 9. Now what is the value of the smallest possible value of B? Because C is equal to 2, B can be equal to 3. But if B is equal to 3, A will equal 6, and again A is greater than B plus C. So B cannot be equal to 3. So B has to be at least equal to 4. In that particular case, A will equal 5. Now 2, 4 and 5 are possible sides of a triangle. So we will have 5, 4 and 2 as the next possibility. Now increase the value of c to equal 3. Then the value of a plus b will equal 8. Now if you make b to be equal to 3, then the value of a is equal to 5. These three are possible sides of a triangle, so we can have 5, 3 and 3. And finally, if you make b to be equal to 4, a will also equal 4, and these three also can be sides of a triangle, so we'll have 4, 4 and 3. So the number of triangles that can be formed whose perimeter is equal to 11 and all the sides are integers is exactly equal to 4. Let us look at the next question. Harris Hamid Khan is saying, why do we assume A to be greater? We can assume one side to be greater than or equal to the other side. We can always, if you are given three numbers, there will always be some order of ascendancy, right? It can always, there will be one number which is always greater than or equal to the next number, which will again be greater than or equal to the third number. We are just naming that largest number to be equal to A. We have 360 people online. That is very good. If you guys can please like the stream, that will be very helpful for us. Aditya Mehra is asking, why didn't we use the formula p square by 48? There is no particular reason. We can use it. I just felt when the perimeter is equal to 11, which is a small number, you can just enumerate it and ensure that you won't make any mistakes. The formula of p square minus 48 and p minus 6 square, all this p plus 3 square, all these things, you should use it only if, in my opinion, you should use it only if the perimeter is very large. Because you have to remember all the formulas. So if you can try to solve it from basics, I would always try to solve it from basics, because that would help me in not making any silly mistakes. I know exactly what I am doing, because that formula that you are referring to will be different for even numbers, it will be different for odd numbers. So there is a bigger chance of making silly mistakes. That is the only reason. Abhishek Kataria is asking, you had already answered it in 100 expected question video. Yeah, I've answered something which is very similar to this. I remember, I think that was in the first 3 or 4 questions only. It was very early in the video. I hope you guys have watched the 100 expected questions. That is a very useful video. So if you haven't watched it, please go ahead and watch it. Okay, this seems to be a slightly tougher question. 32 people have gotten it correct, which is good. Preeti Garg is saying 641 is also a possibility in the previous question. No, it is not, because 6 is greater than 4 plus 1. In a triangle, you want the largest side to be strictly less than the sum of the smaller two sides. Okay, let us try to answer this question. Again, in this question, we see that we are given a triangle ABC and a semicircle is drawn where the center is on side BC and which touches the sides AB and AC. Here we are asked to find out the area of the shaded region. So as we have discussed earlier, whenever you are given a tangent to a circle or any semicircle, always connect it to the center of the circle. So in this particular case, if you are assuming that the center is somewhere over here, connect the tangent, the point of intersection of the tangent and the semicircle, to the center of the circle. So both of these lines will be perpendicular to each other. Let us assume that the center of the circle is O, and let us assume that the point of intersection of the tangents and the center is, say, this is T and this is E. Now OD is perpendicular to AB. Similarly, OE is perpendicular to AE. We also know that this is ABC is a right angle triangle. So angle A is 90 degrees. This would imply that angle DOE is also equal to 90 degrees. We are given the radius of the semicircle. We are told that this is equal to 10 centimeters. So this is 10 and this is 10. ODAE is a rectangle because all the four sides are 90 degrees. And we have the adjacent sides to be equal to 10 and 10. This would imply that this is actually a square. So the length of all the sides is equal to 10 centimeters. Now we are given the area of triangle ABC as equal to 200 centimeters square. we are given the radius is equal to 10 centimeters and we are asked to find the area of the shaded region. So if you are subtracting the area of the semicircle from the area of the triangle, you will be getting 3 regions left. This is region 1, this is region 2 and this is region 3. Now what is the area of the triangle? That is given as equal to 200 centimeters square. What is the area of the semicircle? That will equal pi r square divided by 2, which will equal pi into r is 10 into 10 divided by 2. Pi is 3.14, so this is equal to 314 divided by 2, which is equal to 157. Now the difference between 200 centimeters square and 157 centimeters square is equal to 1 plus 2 plus 3. That is the area of this shaded region plus the area of this shaded region plus 3. Now we can calculate the area of 3. What will the area of 3 be? The area of 3 is equal to the area of the square ODAE, which is equal to 100 centimeters square, because each side is 10, minus the area of the sector ODE. And what is the area of that sector? That will equal pi into 10 into 10 into the angle between the angle subtended by that sector, which is equal to 90 degrees. That is into 1 by 4. This is equal to 100 minus 25 pi. So if you are looking for the area of the shaded region, which is equal to 1 plus 2, that will equal 1 plus 2 plus 3 is equal to the area of the triangle, which is 200, minus the area of the semicircle, which is equal to 50 pi. Therefore the value of 3 is 100 minus 25 pi. Therefore the value of 1 plus 2 is equal to 200 minus 50 pi minus 100 minus 25 pi. So that will be 100 plus 25 pi, which is equal to 100 minus 25 pi. This, if you simplify, will equal 21.50 centimeters square. I hope you are able to understand this. If you have any doubts, please message. I'll try to explain it again. Sovik Sai is saying approximately 200 minus 157 is 43. That is correct. But that 43 will include even the area at the top, which is what you need to subtract. You need to subtract this area and then you will get the area of the shaded region. So if you are trying to subtract the above region, the above area, for that you will have to figure out that ODEA is a square whose area is 100 centimeters square and the area of the sector ODE should be subtracted from it. Okay, I am looking at the next question. We'll be posting it very shortly. In this question, I think I used the tangent secant method that I described earlier to solve this question. If you are Rahul Matihalli is saying, are these problems really solvable in 2 minutes? I'm not so sure. I know that these are, some of them are difficult. I mentioned this even earlier, that the reason we give lesser time is because I want to answer more questions when we are streaming. But some questions are definitely more difficult. For example, the earlier question, I think, yeah, probably answering it in 2 minutes is not very easy. That I'll give it to you. But don't worry about it. Try to make use of this session. So even if you get this question in the examination and even if you are able to answer it in 3 minutes or 4 minutes, I think that is okay. Guys who have just joined the stream, can you guys please like the stream? If you like the stream, it will reach more people and we'll be more happy. Also, we will be doing many streams in the coming 2 weeks. Many of the streams will be deciding only on the spur of the moment. So if you want to follow our streams, please subscribe to our channel and please click on the bell icon. because we want as many people as possible to watch our streams, and because we feel that they will be very useful to students in the last 2 weeks. Okay, if you are trying to answer this question, here we are told that AB is the diameter of the circle and this is perpendicular to BC. Point D is a point on AC and the length of BC is 10 centimeters, that is given in the diagram. What is the area of the shaded region? So over here you are given the shaded region. If you are able to calculate the length of AB, that is the diameter of AB, will be more or less solving the problem. So how are you going to calculate the length of AB? Whenever you are given a tangent and you are given a secant, you should always try to see if there is a way in which you can use the tangent secant theorem that we discussed. So in this case, we are told that D is the midpoint of AC. So let the length of CD be equal to A. So the length of AD is also equal to A. So tangent secant method says that if you have a circle and if you draw a tangent to the circle from any point outside the circle, and you also draw a secant, let us name them as A, B, C and D, then AB square, which is the square of the length of the tangent, is equal to AC into AD. In this particular case, if you are using the tangent secant method, 10 square, which is the square of the tangent, is equal to CD, which is equal to A, into AC, which is equal to 2A. Or what this says is that A square is equal to 10 square is 100, so A square by 2 is 50. So if you are looking at the length of AB, because this is a right angle triangle, AB square is equal to AC square, which is 2A whole square, which is 4A square, minus BC square, which is 10 square, which is 100. What is 4A square? We know that A square is equal to 50. So 4A square will be 200 minus 100, which is equal to 100. Or AB, which is the diameter of the circle, is equal to 10 centimeters. So the radius of this circle is 5 centimeters. This is 5 and this is 5. Now if you are trying to calculate the area of the shaded region, let us first calculate the area of the semicircle, which is at the bottom. The area of the semicircle will equal pi r square divided by 2. The value of r, the radius, is AB by 2. This is equal to 5 centimeters. So this will equal 25 pi divided by 2. Now what is the area of this sector, the area at the top between A and D? To do that, let us only consider the top half. Over here you have AB. Now this is AD, and let us connect D to B. This is 90 degrees because, as we have discussed earlier, AB is the diameter and D is a point on the circumference. The diameter always subtends 90 degrees at the circumference. Now we know the length of AD, that is equal to A, and A is equal to square root of 50, which is equal to 5 root 2. So AD is equal to 5 root 2. We know the length of AB, this is 10 centimeters. Therefore, the length of BD will also equal 5 root 2. Because this is a 90 degree angle, this is the hypotenuse. So now if you are trying to calculate the area of the sector AD, if you are saying this is equal to 1 and this is equal to 2, we can calculate the area of AD by subtracting the area of the triangle ADB from the area of the semicircle AB. Area of the semicircle, as we have discussed earlier, is equal to 25 pi by 2. Now what is the area of the triangle ADB? The area of the triangle ADB is equal to half into 5 root 2 into 5 root 2. This you can cancel. So this will equal 25. So the area of the triangle ADB is 25. So if you are subtracting it from the area of the semicircle, that will be 25 pi by 2 minus 25. This is equal to 1 plus 2. because if you are connecting D to B, you will be getting two semicircles. You will be getting two shaded regions. But you are only concerned with the first area. You are only concerned with the region 1. So the area of region 1 will be equal to 25 pi by 2 minus 25 whole divided by 2, which is equal to 25 pi by 4 minus 25 by 2. This is the area of the shaded region at the top above AD. We have to add it to the area of the semicircle, which is equal to 25 pi by 2 to get the area of the total shaded region. So the answer will be 25 pi by 2 plus 25 pi by 4 minus 25 by 2. If you are simplifying this, you will get by 4 in the denominator, and the numerator will be 50 pi plus 25 pi, which is 75 pi, minus 25 into 2, which is 50. So the answer will be 75 pi minus 50 divided by 4. I know that this is a question which is difficult to be answered in 2 minutes. I understand that. This I think will be on the slightly more difficult side with respect to the CAT examination, but it is always a good way to prepare these kind of questions for multiple reasons. One of the reasons I included this in the stream is because I wanted to demonstrate the importance of the tangent secant method that we have just described, because using tangent secant method we will be able to calculate the radius of this semicircle quite easily. Once you calculate the radius of this semicircle, you will also be able to understand the symmetry concept that we have used. Over here, calculating the area of the semicircle is quite easy, the area of the shaded region below AB. But if you are trying to calculate the area of the shaded region above AD, I felt that if you connect D to B and then use symmetry, then it is a simple and elegant way in which you can get the answer. It will involve some calculations, it will also involve some time, but I felt this is a good learning experience. Anyway, yeah. How did you assume that D is in the middle of the sector? I didn't assume that D is in the middle of the sector. I know that AD is equal to 5 root 2. I know that AB is equal to 10. And I know that angle D is equal to 90 degrees. Using this and using Pythagoras theorem, I would calculate the length of DB. If you calculate the length of DB, you will figure out that that also is equal to 5 root 2. Now, if AD is equal to DB, then I can conclude that D is in the middle. Therefore, the area of 1 will be equal to area of 2. Yash Agrawal is saying, sir, your 100 quant questions was really awesome, got my confidence back. Thanks a lot, Yash. We'll be looking at the next question. If you have any doubts with this question, let me know. Otherwise, we'll go to the next question. Manthan Tyagi is saying, sir, how did you score full marks in quant in CAT 2019? That involved a lot of practice and also a lot of luck. You can never tell that I'll definitely score 100 or I'll definitely score full marks. But as you can see, I solved a lot of questions very regularly. So if you solve so many questions, as many questions as I answer, while preparing the dash cats, while checking the dash cats, while doing these streams, if you answer as many questions as I do on a regular basis, even you will get quite good. And it also, you will also need to have a lot of luck on the day of the examination, because you shouldn't commit any silly mistakes. Okay, Jatin Kochar is saying, sir, where can I find the 100 quants questions which you mentioned right now? Can you guys post the link to the 100 quant questions in the stream? It will be there even in the description, or you can just search in YouTube for 100 quant questions, Kraku, then you will be able to get it. Aditya Mehra is saying, what are the future streams schedule? Only thing that I can confirm for sure is that most of the streams will be at 8:45 p.m. in the night. We plan to do one stream every alternate day, but we are not very sure of what the schedule will be. Please subscribe to the channel and please click on the bell icon, and you will definitely be notified whenever the stream is live. Also, can you guys please like this stream? If you find this useful, please like the stream. This I think is a slightly easy question. Not very trivial, but I think definitely easier than the earlier question. Jaspreet Kaur is saying, is selecting questions based on proficiency in the topic a good strategy for the quant section? I would suggest no. The reason for that is because from many topics you will get questions which are very easy. So if you are very worried that okay, I'm not good at say geometry, or if I'm not good at, I don't know, ratio and proportion, I won't attempt those questions. I won't even read those questions. I think that is not a very good strategy. You should definitely know the basics of all the topics. You should definitely read the question. If you think you won't be able to answer it, then it is okay. But you should definitely read and try to understand the question, all the questions. Nibin is saying, sir, please make a session for question and answer so that many people can ask doubts and clear it. You can ask your doubts even now, man. If you have any doubts, please ask. I'll try to answer it. Okay, only one person has gotten this correct. I don't think it is that difficult, man. I was hoping that more people will get it correct. Okay, last few seconds to get this question correct. We also have a very active Telegram group. If you guys want to participate and discuss with your fellow aspirants, please join our Telegram group. The link to join our Telegram group is given in the link, and I think it is given even in the description. For that, you have to first install the Telegram app. Install the Telegram app, and then the link to join our Telegram group. I think there are more than 6,500 students who are part of the Telegram group. It's a very useful group. I also look at it quite regularly. So please join it if you want to interact with other aspirants. So in this question, we are told that there is a square PQRS. So let us first draw the square. This is the square. This is P, Q, R and S. Now there is a point T which lies on PS. So there is a point T over here. And there is a point U which lies on QR. There is a point U such that QT is equal to TU is equal to SU, and all of them are equal to 40 centimeters. This is 40, this is 40, and this is equal to 40. And we are required to calculate the area of the square PQRS. So to calculate the area of the square, we just need to calculate the length of the side PQ. Let us assume that that is equal to A. Therefore, the length of PS will also equal A. But PS is intersected by T. So let us assume that PT is equal to X. Now let us join U. Let us draw a perpendicular from U to the line PS. So it will look something like this. This is also 90 degrees because we have drawn a perpendicular. This is 90 degrees. Now we are told that UT is equal to 40 centimeters. If say this is point Y, the length of UI will also equal A because it is a part of a rectangle PQUY. Now if you are trying to calculate the length of TU, TU square is equal to UI square, that is A square, plus TY square. Similarly, the length of QT square is equal to the length of PQ square, that is A square, plus PT square, that is X square. Essentially what we are saying is that TY is also equal to X and the length of YS is also equal to X. Therefore, the length of 3X is equal to A, or the length of X is equal to A by 3. So this is equal to A by 3, this is equal to A by 3, and this is also equal to A by 3. Now we are told that the length of TQ or QT is equal to 40 centimeters. Now we can use Pythagoras theorem in triangle PQT. So PQ square plus PT square is equal to QT square. What is the length of PQ square? That is A square, plus what is the length of PT square? We have just described that that is equal to A by 3. So this will become equal to A square by 9 is equal to QT square, which is 40 square, which is 1600. A square plus A square by 9 is 10A square by 9. is equal to 1600, or the length of A square is equal to 160 into 9, which is equal to 1440. We are asked to calculate the area of the square. Area of the square will be equal to A square, which is equal to 1440. So the correct answer is option D. Okay, we'll be looking at the last question now. Akshay is leading, Subrat Sahu is also there, Sai Teja is at 17. So top 3 guys will get a package. I think the package will be our mock package, our 5 mock series. So try to be in the top 3. Let us look at the last question now. Neanderthal here is asking, solving all the DLR sets from Dashcat is a good strategy in the next 10 days. What I know for sure is that Dashcat DLRs are very good. I solve all of them, as you know, because I also make the video solutions. I know that many of them are quite interesting. So I think it is a good way to use your remaining 10-15 days. Try to solve them, but also try to take some mocks. Don't just solve all the Dashcat DLRs. Try to at least take 3-4 mocks in the remaining 2 weeks, and definitely solve all the DLRs from Dashcats. They are very good. So let us look at the last question. Pratap Rajkumar is saying, what should be my strategy for QA when I have been scoring 12 marks average in the past mocks? One of the things that I would tell you, strongly recommend you, is to first solve the previous papers, CAT 2017, 2018 and 2019. Try to solve them without any time pressure. Even if you haven't attempted any mocks, or even if you think there are only 2 weeks time, 2 weeks is more than sufficient for you to go through these previous papers thoroughly. If you are not able to get any of these questions, please watch the video solutions that we have made and put on YouTube. Once you understand the previous papers, these 3 papers, 3 into 2, because each year has 2 slots. So you have 6 papers across 2017, 2018 and 2019. That I think will be very useful for you. Don't neglect solving the previous papers, because I think they'll be very, very useful. Okay, the time is up. Let me solve this question. So in this particular question, we are told that ABC is an equilateral triangle and each of the side is 40 centimeters. We are told that this touches BC at point D such that BD is equal to DC. This would imply that BD is equal to 20 centimeters and DC is equal to 20 centimeters. The 2 sides of the triangle intersect the circle at points E and F as shown. We are required to calculate the length of BF. One of the first things that you should do is, you should identify that AD is the diameter. So let us first try to connect F to D. The reason for that is because we want to understand what is the length of FC. If you are able to get the length of FC, calculating the length of BF is very easy. Because if you are trying to calculate the length of BF, if you know FC, this length will be known. You know the angle C, this is equal to 60 degrees. And you know the length of BC, that is 40 centimeters. So you can very easily calculate the length of BF. So let us first try to calculate the length of FC. Now before we calculate the length of FC, because this is a circle in which AD is the diameter, the angle F has to be equal to 90 degrees. If angle AFD is equal to 90 degrees, angle DFC will also equal 90 degrees. Now if you are looking at triangle DFC, one of the angle is equal to 60 degrees. So you can calculate the length of FC, because cos 60 is equal to adjacent side, which is FC, divided by the hypotenuse, which in this case is 20. cos 60 degrees is half. So half is equal to FC by 20, or FC is equal to 20 divided by 2, which is equal to 10 centimeters. Once you understand that the length of FC is equal to 20 centimeters, now connect B to F. Now when you connect B to F, just use the cosine rule. Here you have the length of FC is to be equal to 10 centimeters. You have the length of BC to be equal to 40 centimeters, and you have the angle between them to be equal to 60 degrees. So BF square is equal to 10 square plus 40 square minus 2 into 10 into 40 into cos 60. 10 square is equal to 100 plus 40 square is equal to 1600 minus 2 into 10 into 40 into half. Cos 60 is equal to half. So you can cancel this, and 40 into 10 is 400. So this is equal to 100 plus 1600 is 1700 minus 400 is equal to 1300. Therefore, the length of BF is equal to square root of 1300, which is 10 square root of 13. Or that is option B. Can we use tangent secant? Yeah, I'm sure you can use tangent secant in this. Raj Krishna is asking. You can use tangent secant, I think, to calculate the length of FC. For example, if you are using the tangent secant method, from point C, you have drawn a tangent to D. The length of that is equal to 20 centimeters. So CD square is equal to CF into AC. CD square will be 20 into 20 is equal to CF into AC, because this is an equilateral triangle, AC will equal 40. So again you are going to get that the length of CF is equal to 10 centimeters. So you can definitely use tangent secant also to calculate the length of FC. Once you calculate the length of FC, I think you will have to use the cosine rule to get the answer. Rahul is asking to predict the 99 percentile score. I don't want to do the predictions right now. Just focus on trying to increase your score as much as possible on the day of the examination. Don't be bogged down by the percentiles or expected scores, level of difficulty, pattern, because all these things, how much ever we speculate, it is not going to help you. I don't have as much information as I would want to have before I make those kind of predictions. Neither does anybody else. So just spending your time on your mental resources on that, I think, is a waste of time. So don't do that, in my opinion. Okay, we have put the link for the CAT 2020 countdown. That is a very, very useful page that has free videos, free revision videos, which I think are very, very useful, where you can cover the entire quant portion, you can cover the entire verbal and LRDA portion. You also have links to the 3 free CAT mocks. The first CAT mock has even video solutions. It also has very important PDFs. So please bookmark that CAT 2020 countdown page and try to use it as much as you can. If you have any doubts, please post it on the chat. I'll try to take another 1 or 2 questions before we end the stream. Udit Garg is saying, sir, are Krakow quant sections more difficult than CAT? I don't think they'll be more difficult than CAT. In general, when we are preparing the dash CAT, we try to make the dash CATs to be as similar to CAT as possible in our opinion. So we never set a paper trying to make the paper to be very difficult. That I think is a bad way of setting the paper. Our mocks are designed to try to make them to be as similar to the actual examination as possible. In LRDA, we always try to keep one set to be a time guzzler. We always try to keep one set to be very, very difficult. But we try to do that because we expect that kind of a set to come even in the examination. Harshvardhan is saying, sir, how close are percentile scores of free mocks to actual CAT? I think both our free mocks as well as our paid mocks are taken by thousands of people. Like recently I was reading somewhere, I think on Quora or somewhere, where somebody was saying that 300 people take Krakow mocks. Krakow mocks are taken by thousands of people. Like the first dash CAT 1 is taken by close to 3000 people, and most of the dash CATs are also taken by thousands of people. So it is not 300 or 200. Krakow mocks are taken by many, many people, and it is increasing significantly day on day. So the percentiles that you are getting will be quite similar to the percentiles that you can expect in the examination. But the thing that you will have to notice is that most of the people who take these mocks, not just Krakow mocks, but any mocks, are the serious aspirants. So if you're looking at 2 lakh people who will be taking the examination on the day, only I think 20 to 30,000 people actually take mocks. So in that particular case, the other 1.7 lakh people probably will not be doing as well as somebody who is taking mock seriously. So in that level, your percentiles will definitely improve on the day of the examination. So again, don't be very worried about where you will be placed or how much marks will translate to how much percentile. All that I think is a negative way of, is a bad way, very inefficient way of using your time. Don't spam the chat, please. Somebody is spamming. I don't want to name him, and I will definitely not read the question also, because if you ask the same question multiple times, I'll definitely not answer it. Sanjay is saying, you and your team are working really hard to help us. Hope this reaches even more people. Thanks a lot. Many people appreciate our video solutions like you have done. We work very hard, as you can see, to help as many people as we can. Anmol Singh is saying, sir, I kill in VARC and LR, but I'm very bad at QA. Is there a tip for me? There is no magic wand. The only way in which you can improve in QA is by practicing as much as you can. Unfortunately, if you are being honest, you don't have a lot of time this time. But try to, as I've said before, try to look at the video solutions for the previous papers, CAT 2017, 2018 and 2019. That I think is the first step. And even before you look at the video solutions, try to solve those questions on your own. That I think is the best thing that you can do if you are very weak at quant, or if that is your mental block. And also we have the CAT formula PDFs. Again, that I think is a very useful collection of material that you can have. So go through all the formulas. They will also be very useful. Akash Thorat is saying, sir, will 200 DLR videos be revision for all types? Daily targets of Kraku are the best resource for anybody who is seriously preparing for CAT. Having said that, because you have only 2 weeks, I don't think you can really make a lot of use with all the daily targets. But if you have time, or if you have a plan, try to definitely go through them. They will definitely benefit you quite a lot. But again, you have only 2 weeks, so I don't really I don't want to demotivate you, but in 2 weeks I don't think you will be able to do a lot of justice to daily target, but it will be quite useful, so try to make the best use of it. Sampreet Rai Durga is saying, today I solved 5 questions from Irido. Irido is physics, right? Don't waste time, man. These are 2 important weeks of your life. Okay guys, thank you very much. If you have liked this stream, if you have enjoyed this stream, please like the stream and please share it with your friends, and please subscribe to our channel and please click on the bell icon. We plan to do a lot of streams in the coming 2 weeks, so you will be notified whenever a stream goes live. Thank you.